Pardon?
I said, how are you this week?
Doing well, doing well. Working on some pretty admittedly fun stuff internally at Koii. Namely, we've talked about it a little bit, but we want to have these 24/7 AI agents that are building code on Koii, and it's we actually had the dev webinar yesterday, and we kind of tested out running cursor and having auto writing code and stuff. And today we just tested out a brand new feature once again, and we're getting much closer with every step. It's really exciting. It's a super fun and engaging project to just be an engineer and to sit back and to watch your computer write code. And I could imagine, if you're just like a non-technical person, but you have this idea and you just sit down and you're just like, here's my idea. I'm going to write it out in plain English and I'm just going to watch a bot write my code for me. And I can get 5 or 6 of my friends together to run their laptops. And then we just have an app, after a week of running this thing. That's super exciting. So, been having a lot of fun here at Koi.
What does that feel like as a coder? Like, I know that I've dabbled in writing over the years, and when I first saw some of the latest iterations of GPT and Claude, it was a little discouraging that they could often write better than me. Um, so do you get the same thing as a coder? Like, do you ever get to the point where you see some elegant code and like want to throw something at it?
I think it's actually better this way, honestly, because unlike writing is an act of introspection,
It's a
writing
creative
software is
process, right?
mostly an act of like blunt force and iterations, right? So you have to sit there for a long time and try all the doors to figure out how to do something the best way, because it's an optimization problem at the end of the day, right? Um, and so in
It
this
feels
case,
like a
kind of what it looks
superpower.
like, at least what it feels like for me at the moment, is I have now something like 20 different projects that I've been building, and I've effectively been able to write enough software to build all of them very quickly, which feels like having 20 versions of myself typing at the keyboard, which is a pretty spectacular feeling.
Yeah,
Same
it's
with you?
totally it's a superpower. Like it feels like that. I think if it was a creative thing, I mean, I wouldn't want AI to write my video games. I definitely wouldn't want it to do that, at least from the design point. I want to choose the colors that I use and the way it looks and the way the game feels, the words that come out of my character's mouths. But if you're asking me, hey, got to create a physics engine so that the left and right legs when your character is walking, they move in the right order. I'm totally happy to let AI do that, and it totally feels like a superpower when I can just say like, "Hey there, my character, he walks funky. I want to fix that. Can you do that?" And then all of a sudden, it will fix that for me. That'd be amazing. I mean, I spent a significant amount of my life learning physics so that I could write video games. And to be honest, I didn't want to learn physics to write video games. I just wanted to make cool little things. And I had all these ideas. And so, like Al's saying, like, you have 20 ideas going on in your head at any given moment. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could just throw a bunch of AI at the problems and we could have these AI build out all of your ideas? And sure, some of them are bad. We all have bad ideas, but some of them are going to be great. We all have great ideas. And I think just like empowering other people to do this is huge. Even my best friend, he's like, been talking about this quite a bit because he's saying it'd be really cool if I could have ChatGPT write out my job. He works a lot with Power BI, which is like data visualization. He works for a big beer company, and he's always like, if I could just have my AI just write me out my dashboards and then send that to my boss, like, wouldn't that be crazy? That'd be a super cool power. So I'm really motivated to build that. I don't think we should be afraid of it. We should really embrace this. We can go so much farther as development teams, as a society. I think it's just a super cool project.
Well, you said something interesting, or you said a few, but one thing that caught my attention was like not all the ideas are good. Some are going to be bad. Well, isn't it great to have the AI spending the time on the bad idea and not you? Be able to just,
Exactly, right?
yeah.
That's the best
Um,
part is I have weird ideas all the time, and I open up our AI tool and I just like throw it at a problem and it does something really weird and I'm like, all right, this was the wrong direction. And we retry. And that process used to take a day to figure out you did something wrong as a developer. Now it takes me 20 minutes. And that's huge.
It's funny you said you learned physics to do video game coding. Like Zach Weinersmith went through a degree in physics to do good web comics. Makes me wonder if there's any physicists out there doing it for the actual physics these days.
What do you
Um,
think, Al? Any physicists doing it for the physics?
I thought physicists did it so they could build really big telescopes and or go to space. I think those are the two main motivators.
So it's all about building cool things.
most
It's a pretty good
physicists
motivator.
are not going to be able to get through the process of going into space. The the requirements and the imagine going into a big centrifuge until you black out. I don't think a lot of physicists that I remember working with are up for that task. Um, what beyond that? I mean, what does your week look like? We have an opportunity to kind of do this check-in once a week at the end of the week when everybody's kind of winding down. What was on your plate at the beginning of the week that you were able to tick off, and what new directions do you have for us?
So I will say for all the people listening, very sorry. We are finishing the last of the launch distributions. There are people who got left out. You know that we gave out tokens to 200,000 people. So they're throughout that process of the manual, speaking to everybody, making sure everything was set up properly. We did miss a few people, or there were a few people that got the wrong number of tokens at mainnet. We're finally, I think this week we finally spent all the time necessary to get all that information, and we will be sending those tokens out before Monday. So those are coming to you very soon. I really am very sorry for the delays there, but that's something that we have a huge Google spreadsheet that we have spent probably about a month compiling. So we spent a long time this week making sure that everything is all set up properly there. And also we spent a lot of time making sure that all the validators on K2 are up and running and are stable. And so K2 is now like as stable or more than Solana, which is pretty amazing. So everything seems to be working, but yeah, I think this week we finally finished the mainnet launch.
Well, that's pretty amazing. How does it feel?
Pretty incredible. I mean, I think we're the only live Solana VM that is not Solana, which is pretty cool. And things seem to be very stable. The network's chugging along. That's why we finally have some time to start working on the next phase, of course, which is building a full ecosystem of applications on top of Koii, which is why we've now finally had time to go through all the AI agent stuff for a bit.
So, as you're starting to explore these different agents, what's the cream of the crop floating to the top at this point? What are the applications that have you most excited?
Avi, do you want to talk to that one a little bit, or?
Some tasks on mainnet that have me the most excited.
Yeah, either in development or in the near horizon.
I think there's definitely some cool tasks that are actively in development right now. We actually have the Sono token, Catch the Record. He's going to be coming up onto the stage really soon to talk about a project that I think everybody's going to be able to get behind. Personally, from the moment I saw it, I was absolutely enamored with it, and I really hope that everybody else in the community is too. So I won't steal his thunder and instead talk about other things like AI tasks. I mean, I'm so excited to be able to build a tool that lets other people build AI and to build tasks. I mean, this 247 builder that we're talking about, it's going to be able to write AI. And then you can have your AI do your own things. Or you can I see someone's like, yo, make me a sniper bot. You could probably do that with this tool. I see someone who's like, you want to create some meme coins. Well, you can do that on Koii and you can make an agent that can trade it. Or maybe, make a Twitter bot that can pump that to the moon. I just think like the opportunities are about to be absolutely endless. I think what I want to see is some really interesting AI integrations. So things like, hey, I have my e-commerce website and I'm hosting this AI integration on Koii. What can your AI do to give superpowers to other tools? That's the stuff that I'm definitely the most excited about. As a passion project, I think games are always an interesting use case, but obviously I'm a gamer, so I'm a little biased. And we also have an exciting task coming out very soon. It'll be called the bonus task, and it'll come with some really exciting incentives for the community, and hopefully getting some koi back in your guys' wallet and moving again. So there's some stuff on the horizon that I'm pretty excited for. But I guess, sorry, I'm going to dovetail here. The dev webinars that we're hosting every Thursday, we're doing like 3 hour dev webinars now. I see tons of people here who were there at the webinar. A huge thing that we're going to start doing is we're going to be building tasks in there. And what I want people to do is to come to those and watch me build tasks and to help me build tasks. So yesterday we tried building I think it was a predictive AI tool on Koii, and we used AI to try and do it. It was pretty amusing. It wasn't able to get through the whole thing, but it got pretty close. And next Thursday, we're going to try again. And so if that's a really cool place where I think emergent community ideas can come about, where you guys can be a part of what's going on here at Koi. You can actually propose live, hey, let's start building this task and see where we get at the end of 3 hours. And then I make the repo live, and you guys can go ahead and work on it. At the end of last dev webinar, I made the repo live, and now we have a guy named Grim, and he's diligently working on fixing all of it. And I think that's really exciting and really cool. So a really cool place to start engaging and developing the sort of tasks that you will see on Koi. The future of Koi is these dev webinars. So I'd like to see more people there, and this is my shill for that.
So let me ask you a question. I'm probably going to ask in some variant each week, because I think not only does it intrigue me, but it speaks to most of your future node users, um, people that are early adopters, people that are in the audience now are probably advanced users. What do these AI tools mean to the average person running a node who wants to maybe create their first task or delve into AI? I'm assuming at this point they're still considered early adopters, but they might not really know even where to start. Like, what can they expect from this, as far as difficulty goes, and what can they expect to create? Like, what is what are a couple examples of a beginner task for an AI tool on Koi?
So I can speak to this one a little bit. I think the really cool thing here is it's not just about the agent writing code for you. It's also about the agent being the interface that you use to explore how this can be done. So for the most part, what we will probably be doing is providing the agent, well, what we have been doing is we're teaching the agent how to do certain types of template operations. So you can look at something like Astrolink, and you can see a SaaS service where you sell people the ability to post things and have those posts amplified. But you can also look at Astrolink and you can think, this is a basis of an interaction that a group of people can have using a token. And so if Astrolink is a protocol, which is actually how it's been designed, then you can pay with that token and you can get a certain outcome, which is you get more traffic on a social post. We similarly now have databases, we have websites, we have the ability to run small AI processing jobs, and the list goes on, right? So there's all these things that we now know how to do on Koi, where you can pay a certain token and a group of nodes will do that thing. And what we're looking to do here is to really expand the number of those templates that we have. So the first thing that we're going to turn on our AI code generation for is to go and build out that list of all those types of template operations where node operators know how they're getting paid for it and the task does a certain thing. And what that does is it creates all of the foundational technologies so that you can actually have a very broad idea. You can say something like, I want to start a community that does this, and then we're going to launch a meme coin, and then we're going to use the meme coin proceeds to make a research fund for this biomedical thing. And you can have that level of a broad idea, and the research project, the whole side of it, can actually all be scoped out by an AI agent running on Koi, and can actually then be proposed to you as, do you want to try and go this direction? And then we can actually provide the nodes and provide the frameworks and all the different pieces to be able to, build your website, help you produce social content, get lots of views on that social content, get the word out, then help you actually start putting the token together, launch the token, get trading on the token, and then be able to actually go through the whole flow. And so all of these things are actually quite viable. And then the very tricky thing with it is teaching the agents how to do all these different pieces. And so kind of the project for the next few months is going to be getting the agents to do little pieces of it and teaching kind of the agents how to actually iterate on each other's code. And the cool thing about this is, of course, is that everybody who's running a Koi node is going to get basically a small piece of ownership of every single one of these agents as you run the tasks. And that's going to be that's the exciting part. Is during this like kind of beta development phase, we have a whole bunch of these tasks coming out. Each one of them will basically be one of these, small pieces of the larger puzzle. And every time that an agent uses that in the future, they're going to need the tokens required for that particular piece of the bubble. And so that's kind of the big outlook is, everybody who's in Koii right now gets all these different tokens, and then all of those tokens will be bought on the DEX by agents to be able to use all these different things in the future. And so we have a lot of these pieces coming together. It's at the point now where the code is effectively writing itself, which is pretty cool. And we just have to wait and provide the resources that the agents need so that they can go and actually build all of this stuff. So I'd say we're kind of like we're looking at the dragon's egg, and we're just waiting for it to hatch now. But we have to make sure it stays warm and that it's safe and so on.
If the tasks are writing themselves, where is the actual time bottleneck happening?
So this is the neat part, actually. A lot of LLMs like ChatGPT or Claude or any of these, they have a very easy to access API. And now, like a lot of them actually have a free tier, especially Google Gemini also has a lot of free interfaces. And so what we'll be doing with the tasks are basically giving you an environment on your computer where that agent can write code and test it. And what we've created is this nice, secure little sandbox. And so the real bottleneck is the amount of AI runtime is very limited. And that's why these APIs get very expensive if you use them too much. But what can happen is an AI on an API can write a list of steps, and your computer can go and execute that list of steps. And so you only have to ask the API a question every now and then, which is like, you're only actually talking to ChatGPT every now and then. And then in the meantime, your computer is just going to work building something and testing it. And so the cool thing here is we're actually unlocking the big bottleneck that's causing all these people to go after GPUs. Right? So the market has always had a shortage of computing. And I think we found a way that Koii nodes, even the very small ones, can actually participate there.
Are you at a point where they can actually work together piecemeal on a larger project and coordinate all
That's
that?
the really cool thing about this. It's what's called context in the AI world. So context is like how big is the AI's brain, basically. And if you use AI with really big brains, then they require really big hardware, which is really, really expensive. The other side of it is if you have very specific, well-scoped, well-described jobs that you need the AI to do, you can actually use very small computers to execute that project. And so what we've actually been doing, and the whole testing framework is we want people to be able to run one tiny piece, like solve this one problem, write this one function, and then produce it. And your local agent can do probably like 100 of those in an hour, actually, which is pretty amazing. And so what we're hoping to do here is to have each of these Koii nodes. I think it's something like 8,000 that are daily active right now. We'll have each of those Koii nodes probably solving 200 compute jobs a day, and then collaboratively building GitHub repositories with the code. So we run everything in an open source on GitHub as well. And so what we'll be doing basically is creating bounties for all of those things that the agents can do, and then the agents will get rewards every time that their code gets accepted. So you can think of this like bug bounties, except you don't have to be a software developer, and you just need a computer, which is a lot more fun.
So it sounds to me like what you're describing is exponential growth, and we're at kind of the knee of the curve right now, to quote Emmett. Um, what what is that going to look like? Maybe 6 months in, when you've got code that writes code that writes code, and you are basically tanking any tasks you need within days. Does that saturate a marketplace with similar tasks, or does that push the envelope to more sophisticated tasks? And if so, how do you keep up? Like,
So
do you have
the
a vision for
really
that?
cool thing about this is if you look at the rest of the Web3 ecosystem, every single one of our major competitors has bug bounties that they need solved.
Ah,
And they're all in cryptocurrency that can be bridged onto Koii and paid out to node operators or used to buy
wow.
back certain AI tokens. And so the big exciting thing about this is every DPIN network on either Ethereum or Solana or Aptos or Sui, we're going to be bridged to all of those within the next 2 months. So we have Allbridge coming online in a couple of weeks, and we have DEXs being built that are going to launch on Koii as well within the next couple of weeks. This is one of those things that, while we were launching mainnet, that was really hard to do all these things in parallel, but now we have a ton of free time. So the DEX is going to go live pretty soon. I think we have that in development. So we're hoping to have that integrated into the desktop node and into the AI agents within probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. At the same time, Allbridge is going to connect the Koii token into all of the main DeFi ecosystems. And what that means is we can now use Koii nodes to solve all of those bug bounties. And when we do that, the tokens that are earned from solving those bug bounties will go into a pool, which will then be used to buy back all of the AI tokens and all the KPL tokens that have been minted to people. And even outside of that, there's all kinds of other things that the agents can be doing, which are equally interesting. I think actually probably the big opportunity is somebody is going to get to create the best consulting firm ever, where they just have an Upwork profile and a bunch of freelancing website profiles, and the profile will basically be mapped to their personal AI token that they pay out to people, which is kind of hilarious when you imagine it. You could have like one contractor account on Upwork and solve thousands of. And for people that don't know this, Upwork is a website where you can hire software developers to do work. So you could have one contractor account on Upwork with 20,000 coin nodes behind it, and you could probably be raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars a week, which is quite an enticing probability. And it seems like it can happen very, very quickly, just given the amount of hardware capacity that we have.
So I've told you before that I'm less. I've known Koii long enough to know a bit about your tech. I'm more interested in knowing kind of the people behind it and your motivations. This is not the first time you and I have spoken where you've had this $1 million idea that you're just kind of going, I'm going to leave that for the community and I'm just going to focus on Koii. Maybe explain that a bit, because I know for me that sounded a little strange at first. You did the same thing with data. You were like, somebody's going to make billions off of this. It won't be me, but I'm going to help them do it. I'm just focused on Koii.
Yeah, so we started
Can you,
talking about physicists at the beginning.
yeah.
My family are all in medicine, and like the one thing I saw growing up is my family in medicine, they help one patient at a time, right? And maybe there's a chance that they could develop a drug or build something that's going to it's going to help a lot of people all at once, but then temporarily. And I think the thing that we're trying to do with Koi is to give everybody like a user experience upgrade. So I really like the analogy of bicycles. So Steve Jobs originally said that the computer is a bicycle for the mind, and what he meant by that was, you can walk, or you can run, or you can ride a horse, but if you use a bicycle, you are putting out the same amount of energy that you would when you walk, even less maybe, and you can go faster and do more. And that's a pretty exciting potential. And I think computers have kind of reached a saturation point now, though, where to really use the bicycle of the mind at the moment, you have to actually have an enormous amount of understanding. And it takes a lot of on-ramp time for someone to become an expert at using computers, even to just figure out how to use like a Google Doc or something like that to the best of their ability. And each one of these tools has this on-ramp time. And I think AI, the whole point of AI is to remove that on-ramp time, to make it intuitive and very symbiotic and easy to use these new tools, and to use them to do the thing that everyone has not tried yet. And so this comes back to the physics thing, which is physics is about finding something that no one has ever been able to do and then proving that it's possible. And then once you prove that it's possible, then getting the resources together and building a community of people around trying to actually do it. And so this is what happened with electricity. It's what happened with especially like long range electrical cables. It's what happened with fiber optic. It's what happened with the internet. It's what happened with flight. It's what happened with boats. The whole history of human communication and technology works this way. And I think what we really want is we want billions of people around the world to be able to discover the edge cases and then pursue them. And what Koii is meant to do is to really accelerate people individually to do that problem. So usually the reason that we are shying away from actually going and capturing the value that we're creating is, if we're capturing that value, we're not focused on actually breaking the boundaries and finding the next opportunity. So if we had really gotten deep on the data thing like a year ago, and we just started, trying to sell data and make money, we would have had to hire a whole bunch of salespeople. We would have had to hire a whole bunch of specialist engineers, and it would have meant that the core Koii team would have been a lower priority. And like, breaking the boundaries of making sure that we could make our Solana fork work, getting the compute network up to the whole point that it is now. We never would have gotten to this point. And I think it's a really important step that we're able to now get to where we are now and get to the next situation like this, the next breakthrough. And if we focus on these incremental things, we usually don't get there. That's part of why Koii is a nonprofit. We're actually here to help grow the ecosystem around what we do, not to capture the value ourselves.
That's pretty amazing.
And for reference,
That
I'm still driving my pickup truck from 2011 that I used to start my first landscaping company, where I went door to door with a lawnmower. And so when I was 16 years old and doing that, I had a very different approach to things. I didn't try to do big things. I just wanted to make stable growth. But I don't want to buy a new car right now, because that would mean taking money away from Koi's development to buy a car. So I still got this old pickup truck, and it still works fine. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Well, I think if even 5% of CEOs had this philosophy, there'd be enough money left in the economy to have a middle class again. So I I love that. Um,
Interesting idea.
um, Similarly, on a tangent for a moment, a lot of the developed world is facing population crashes. Do you see AI and bots in a position to mitigate this with all the extra work they can be doing, or is it a people problem?
I think usually overpopulation or underpopulation tend to be local problems, not global problems. The Earth has capacity for about like 15 billion people before it really starts to get complicated. Um, the thing in the short term, though, is maintaining a cognizant population, right? As an example, if everybody leaves their lights on all night, every night, and they leave the tap open on their sink all day, every day, even in one neighborhood, that would create a problem. If you do that on a whole city level, it's an enormous issue, right? If an entire city turns on their lights all at the same time and leaves them on for 12 hours, while also leaving all of their taps open, the city will run out of fresh water. The electrical system will probably break, and there will be a blackout because one of the cables will explode. And that just doesn't happen because people are cognizant, and we've created the local incentives that people don't want to waste electricity. But I think also people are mostly becoming aware that wasting electricity is just bad for everyone. Um, and I think we're kind of in a similar situation with a lot of these things. And so the key thing is we need to have a global population that understands, how to live and the best way to live, and we need to all come to consensus on the economic system that we want to live in. And I think the other side of it is the internet also means that overpopulation in one place isn't a big deal because you don't have to go door to door with a lawnmower. You just have to have a computer and interface with other people, and allow your genius to speak by creating things. Um, and you can do services for 100 people around the world in one day if you have enough AI agents. And that means that you as an individual can be very happy where you are, no matter what the population density is. You might have to pay more for an apartment, but if you like living in that area, then where it goes.
Hmm. Um, I am seeing a hand in the audience. We haven't done this yet. Avi, I'll leave it up to you. How do you want to handle raised hands in the audience through the chat question or through staging system?
Yeah, typically, I'm happy to bring people up. I just know we're about a half hour in, and we do have a guest speaker we were looking to bring up. So maybe we want to get to that first, and then take questions at the end with our extra time.
Sounds good.
And
Hey, Doug, either.
hey guys,
I'm
sorry.
here.
I
You hung up on me.
I have another call I have to hop to briefly, but I will be available in about 30 minutes. So if we want to hop over to Sonos for a bit, Avi, we can do questions at the end in about 30 minutes. And I'm really sorry if that means that anybody who's waiting is going to be delayed. I know some questions about new tasks coming out and some questions about public sale distributions and stuff. Those are all coming. We're hoping to have that all cleaned up by Monday. We had a very long to-do list after the launch.
Good.
Yeah, I'm going to hop off for a bit now. I'll be back shortly, hopefully. Bye for now. Thanks.
Okay.
Cool. In the meantime, I'm gonna invite Catch the Record up. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hello guys.
Welcome,
Hi there.
I need
welcome.
some time to open my presentation.
So Catch is a longtime community member here in Koii. He's developed a task I think everybody knows quite well, the Reverie Field task. I said that right. It's Reverie Field task.
Yep.
Cool. I'll turn off my camera so that you have all the bandwidth for sharing your screen. And yeah, I think today we have a little presentation, a little bit of sharing, the journey of Catch, and a bit about the Sono token that you're probably, hopefully, all holding. Yeah. So without further ado, Catch, go ahead and take us away.
Hi everyone. I'm a sound engineer and sound designer with 13 years of experience in sound industry, currently working as a senior technical sound designer in game development. Let's briefly discuss the current state of AI in the sound industry. There are already a lot of tools on the market, and to be fair, the market has been competitive for many years. It's far from empty. Companies are investing massive amounts of money to train the models and integrate them into products, which are, for the most part, functional. But what's the common problem of all these things and companies? Almost all tools are locked behind expensive subscription models, which become extremely costly at production scale. These models are often trained on the sounds that are boring, generic, and frequently impractical for real-world use. To be fair, these models are not capable of creating anything truly meaningful, and it likely never will unless we fundamentally change how people perceive creativity. And honestly, trends in modern society seem to be pushing us in that direction. The main issue is that AI lacks a real taste. And what we are proposing, we aim to create an AI agent as a personal assistant tailored for professionals. AI should not replace professions or take our jobs. It's simply not possible. Anyone claiming otherwise is being a populist. At best, it could apply to very simple cases, but not complex. Instead, AI could become our helper, saving our time and effort and allowing us to focus on more important and creative aspects that we often don't have the energy or time to address during real production work. Oh, sorry. Our model will be designed for professionals and anyone involved in creating and processing sound. It will be trained on really great, unique sounds. It will operate directly within your project environment, providing ready-to-use sound options based on specific instructions made by you, by your choice. Our model will suggest the best solution for current situation or find sound analogies, saving an enormous amount of time usually spent searching through a myriad of sounds in professional libraries. How we are building this model? I'm developing this project in partnership with the Koii network. I've created it and I'm still improving special node tasks within the ecosystem. These tasks will process vast amounts of audio data while also performing compute and staking functions. How it all works. A pre-trained, specially designed audio model listens to an online audio stream, analyzing its spectrum and other parameters. At the same time, users inside the mini app create descriptions of the sounds they hear in real time and submit them and get rewards for their contributions. Then our model compares these user descriptions with its own sound analysis, learning to make better sounds and becomes much better and deeper, much smarter model. What's the utility of our token? You can use it to pay for the AI agents work directly in your workflow. You can make in-app binds inside the mini app. You can stake tokens in node tasks and to earn dynamic rewards. You can stake tokens in special pools, which will be available in the future. We already have a working prototype. You can try by scanning a QR code. It's kind of game with unique mechanics where you will be able to mine tokens directly within the game itself without paying any gas fees. The tokens will simply be mined to your wallet, to your Koii wallet. So what we have so far? A large collection of high-quality sounds recorded by me. And this library is growing fast. A wonderful, cozy community and a unique clicker-style game proof of listening concept. we are open to anyone interested, those from the crypto space, members of the professional audio community, musicians, artists, producers, studios, and beyond. Very soon, you will be able to support the project by buying a special Sonar mining pass, which will give you the ability to mint Sonar tokens directly in the game. So be part of the community, play a role in its growth by taking part in project votes with your unique voting power. And just run a Koii node. Thank you all for your attention. That's all.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. You've been working on this for how long now?
About 4 months from September. Yep.
From September. Awesome. Yeah. And as I recall, you were one of the first to get invited to the Koii Ocean program at the start. You were there for obviously the testnet mainnet transition. You were one of the first tasks with a live KPL token. So you've hit a lot of the major milestones here for a Koii task in the community. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You
So
feel like a leader?
a lot of job, a lot of time spent it.
Yeah.
But it's my passion. It's my like a hobby, which I hope becomes something more.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. That's the best way to put it. It's when it's our hobby and passion too. When we can take it outside of work and it doesn't burn us out, but it actually motivates us. Like it becomes this project we can pour so much into. Those are the best projects. Those end up truly shining. And I think your use case is incredible. I mean, it's games that train AI. That is huge. That's a major UX improvement to training AI. Right now, the only way we can train AI is either by using social media to train an algorithm. You can go to ChatGPT and you can train a chat model. But like, how do we train other models? And in a more robust way, I think this is it. And a sound model is the perfect use case. It's a mode, modes being like text or audio, for example. So in this case, it's just a new type of way of interfacing with a new mode, and that's incredible to me. I'm super excited to see where you're able to take this and the other tasks that you build to support this, and you're gonna keep on improving your game, and it's gonna be a fun way to basically play to earn. I'm all for it. I have a long background in games myself. Used to work at Ubisoft, um, and so I've always been looking for these kind of innovations, and this is it. This is one of them, man. Congrats, well done.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So
It's
I'm curious, what advice do you have for people who may be listening now or in the future who are new to task development, based off of your experience building this?
just do it if you have some idea. It's not a problem if you not a programmer, pro programmer, which works many years in this sphere. I know some code. I can coding, but it's just you just need the time to sit with ChatGPT. It's our new future. You just open ChatGPT and start building, and any person can do it.
I mean, I imagine if
Sorry for
even
my
that.
accent, for my English, but it's a simple truth.
Oh, no, you're perfectly understandable. And I imagine if even the thought of sitting by GPT and doing code could be daunting for some, GPT will teach you how to do even that. Like even before you get to the coding, you can ask it, how can you help me?
Yes,
So
yes.
no more excuses, I guess.
You have the whole universities in your computer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess now with the added assistance of Koii agents, the process just becomes even that much easier. So actually, that brings me to actually, obviously, since you're talking, how, if he had next month's Koii agent 6 months ago, what would the process have been like?
Yeah, I'm hoping that the foundation and infrastructure that Catch is building right now actually becomes one of the first use cases for Koi's AI infrastructure here. I mean, for example, I think there's a big model that needs to be trained on all of this sound. That's a bit farther away than the AI agents that are coming out in a month. But maybe in 2 months, we might have the ability to train models, on Koi, and that's going to be a huge breakthrough because you can train these really revolutionary models, and those big, we call them modal models in machine learning, stuff like LLM, that's like ChatGPT, or that maybe the Sono sound AI that comes out. These models are kind of like the L1s of the AI world. And then there's L2s that get built on top of them. Those are the AI agents, and they're usually talking with a bunch of these foundational AI to create these really expressive agents. And so I think that in the future, what we're going to see in the ecosystem is the ability for creators like Catch to create these models that then get utilized by all the agents in the ecosystem. So whatever you need, maybe you want to have video game music generation. Maybe you want to have music generation for your YouTube account. Maybe you want to have music generation for some video projects that you do. Whatever you want music generation for. Maybe you want to create your own AI that can do all this. You can now use Catch's model as a foundational layer. And it just becomes another infrastructure piece to this whole AI dream that we're kind of building. This sort of, I mean, Al's been saying it for a long time, sort of like a WordPress for building apps. That's what he's always wanted to do. Just like as easy as WordPress is to build a site and to have a server and to get a domain, and it's all done. And now you have a website and it can be done in a few hours. He wanted that for app development. He's always wanted that. And this is that step where we're just building all of these plugins that WordPress has. Catch's tools are eventually just going to be a service you can use. I want to take advantage of this AI and I want to plug it into my stuff. It's part of this journey. It's going to make it so easy to just seamlessly integrate. And once it's seamlessly integrated, you can go in any direction you want with it. So I think if Catch had had these agents and he was able to train them, I think today we'd have a really emergent and intelligent AI that knows how to compose video game music. And then there's just a bunch of next steps from there, which would be so exciting to see, like where you could bring that AI by itself. What other sounds could we train it on? But then, of course, that could be something that the rest of the community does with the AI Catch produces. So yeah, just a bunch of very interesting use cases that are floating around in my mind.
This sounds once again like exponential growth to me. Like you're building foundational pieces that are going to be used to build foundational pieces, and so on and so on. Each step making the process both easier and more sophisticated, and I guess faster.
Yeah, that's the idea. And eventually we can work our way to being a really integral part. Just building apps on Koi should just be the solution that makes sense. Should be the first thing you think of when you think of I want to build an AI agent and I want to train it, and I don't have $600,000 in compute and money to have Amazon train my model for me from scratch. And so being able to take advantage of a network like Koi's, I think is going to be really, really huge for the industry at large. It's not just a Web3 problem, it's just a web problem. It's there's not enough compute in traditional computing to serve the demand to train AI. And that's why it's so incredibly expensive. I mean, not only is there a lot of resource and electricity that goes into it, you can just charge a premium on it. because people want it. And so if we, as the crowd, can sort of have this supercomputer, this world supercomputer, we can basically have a near equivalent amount of compute capacity. It's just distributed between us all. If we coordinate that together, um, we can change the world, actually.
I think we've talked about this before. This is the modern day equivalent of what David Anderson did with SETI at home through UC Berkeley back in I think it was late 90s, where it was just no supercomputer on the planet had enough capacity to scan the heavens for signals. And so they just packaged it up, sent it out to a distributed network of people using dial-up modems to download these packages, and then put it all together at the other side. And like having done that back then and seeing what can be done today is just mind blowing. Like how Koii is kind of the spiritual successor of that, and having Al put altruism into this is also amazing, because this whole concept started off as a scientific betterment to humankind, and now here we are, 30 years later, and Koei is trying to do the same. So it's pretty awesome. Um, we got 8 minutes left, and there were some questions earlier on. Did you want to scroll through that list and maybe address any
I
that
can
Al didn't?
I can field some of them for sure. I think that some will be up to Al to field. I think the first question that I noticed was that right now, in particular, the O-Fire is producing less rewards than is stated in the description. We did an investigation very recently and learned at the beginning of the week that for some reason the submissions on those are failing. We've been working on identifying why it's happening and then making an announcement, and fixing it in a soon, like an upcoming update. So I'm sorry about that. The reason that we're not getting as much rewards right now seems to be a distribution submission issue on our end. We're still investigating exactly why it's happening. Um, I don't have much more information, which I apologize about, but we will have some more information on it soon that we'll be releasing to the community as an announcement. So in theory, yes, everybody should be getting full bounty. For some reason, these tasks are failing. So we're hoping, we're not certain, we're hoping that the transaction history shows submissions and the staking list, so that we can do an airdrop of fire tokens. We'll figure out how to make that right to the community for sure, no matter what happens. But right now, we're still very much in an investigation period. That's a great question, though, and it deserves an answer. We're still a little confused ourselves. Is the ultimate answer, but we're confident we'll be able to fix it soon. I think we have a bunch of promising leads. The main blocker seems to be testing time. Other tokens too. Yeah, and so it's possible that it's something that we did to the task node, and it's causing some failures. So we'll be doing a thorough investigation and releasing an announcement to the community of some sort. What's up with the DEX and the mobile wallet? The DEX is actively in progress. We're working on it, and we want to make it the best we possibly can. So we're not going to release it. We're not going to release too much information until it's perfect and mainnet ready and stable. So just stay tuned for updates on that. And as far as the mobile wallet goes, I think we might have lost him, but we have community member Gwimex, who's been working on a mobile wallet. There's been some exciting updates recently. Gwimex told me I'm allowed to talk about it. Basically, I bet you if you shout him out in the general chat, you might be able to get some alpha there from him. He has some screenshots that are available. It's pretty fun. I'm trying to see if I can find the ticket. where he gave me that information, but unfortunately I can't. It's lost in a sea here. But yeah, we're basically we have some people working on both. They'll be coming out soon with like they're both being worked on. There's both a bunch of snapshots and progress shots of their apps being deployed and developed. So I'm confident that we'll see them very soon. Uh, Me, Obird, and Smart. Ooh, Smart token. Yeah. We got to get H code. Oh, H code's in here. Welcome, welcome. We have to get you up onto the next happy hour so that you can talk about the smart token. I think a lot of people in the community have been interested about that. Razin, you say you have 1,000 task ideas, but you need my help. Two things. Firstly, developer webinars, you can get my help. I'll be there. We will crush through your problems. More than happy to do that. The second thing is we have in the Koii Builders section of the Discord the app ideas and team building. You should go there and you should throw all of your task ideas in there, and then you should try and form a team because the first team of 5 that comes together with an app idea that's able to get that app idea 500 likes on social media across any social media platform and all social media platforms, you can add them up. Koii will invite them to partake in a special accelerator program to try and get your guys' task live. So yeah, if you have thousands of ideas, throw them out there and maybe be the next big thing.
So, I don't religiously look through Discord. I'll admit, life's too busy. Was this particular offer posted on Discord? And I guess if so, if not, is there a place where all of these sort of promos and opportunities are listed that people can find them?
Yeah, right now, the Koii Builders section of the Discord is basically where you get these updates, I suppose. Sorry, there's the Builder Updates channel. It used to be called Builder Announcements, but it's called Builder Updates now. That's where you can get updates on all of these. These are sort of our alpha programs. So like if you want to get access to them, you kind of have to stay tuned and be aware. So I want to give this benefit to people who are here today in the happy hour, who show up to the developer webinar, who check check out the updates and who try and stay tuned and stay live and up to date with everything. This is how you get access to those kind of things, just being present and participating. And slowly over time, those are the people, the people who are here are the people who are most engaged, I think. There's obviously a time zone thing. We have to start doing more time zones so that more people can participate in a wider range of these events. But overall, you guys who are here, you're the ones who are dedicated and active. And I want to give you guys the first opportunity to succeed.
I think that means a lot more than I remember 2-3 years ago. We had all the POAP hunters coming to these sort of meetings, which they didn't really care about what was being talked about. They just wanted their NFT. I
Yeah.
love the idea of coming to find sort of like Easter egg bonuses as part of the community building and promo activities. I have to go. I have a meeting. Shall I
Okay,
leave you
thanks
on
so much for
here?
hosting. No, I think we'll call
Or
it there. I have another meeting coming up too. Um, but this was excellent. Sorry we didn't get to some of your questions. Unfortunately, time just got run short and Al got pulled away. So I know some people have some other questions in the community. Absolutely warranted that those get answered. We'll try and pick things up again next week in the happy hour, and we'll be planning an X space too, so that some people who missed the happy hour time slot can join in. But for now, that's us. Thanks so much for joining in, guys, and we'll see you next week.
thanks, everyone. Bye.